Welcome back to Hashtag That. I'm Alex Kendall.
And I'm Marcus Ferreira. From Country Carter to What to Watch, we're back with the latest entertainment news updates.
All that and more from Hamden to Hollywood. We are your source for Quinnipiac's entertainment news.
From Hamden to Hollywood,
we are your source for Quinnipiac's entertainment news. This past week, Louis Gossett Jr. has reported to have passed in Santa Monica, California at the age of 87. Gossett Jr.'s legacy continues to inspire. He was the first black man to win an Academy Award for his performance in An Officer and a Gentleman in 1983, as well as an Emmy Award winner for the groundbreaking miniseries Roots. Throughout Louis Gossett Jr.'s whole life, he was hit with countless hurdles. When he experienced racism in the 90s, he helped found the Erasm Foundation and kept going. When he was diagnosed with prostate cancer in 2010, he was a public advocate and kept going. And even his age did not stop him from participating in his most recent film, The Color Purple. He kept going. His life and legacy have and will continue to have a lasting impact on others who desire to walk the same path, to keep going. Just as many of Gossett Jr.'s colleagues and friends have already said on X, we at Hashtag wish his family peace during this time. May he rest in power.
Hollywood star Chance Perdomo unfortunately passed away this past Saturday, March 30th, due to a motorcycle accident. He was only 27 years old and was most well known for his role as Andre Anderson in the television show Gen V. According to a statement from his family and representatives, no one else was involved in the accident. The statement also talks about his life, stating, quote, "His passion for the arts and insatiable appetite for life was felt by all who knew him, and his warmth will carry on in those who he loved dearest. We ask to please respect the family's wish for privacy as they mourn the loss of their beloved son and brother," end quote. Based on publicly known productions, his last acting role will be in the upcoming action comedy movie Bad Man, which finished filming this year. It is unknown what will happen regarding his character in Season 2 of Gen V.
Speaking of another unknown problem, several videos posted to TikTok have gone viral in which women describe being punched in the face by a stranger in New York City. These Manhattan attacks, seemingly happening at random, have occurred to women who are in their 20s and 30s. These alleged attacks have been detailed on both Instagram and TikTok, with one of the most viral being of a New York fashion influencer by the name of Haley McGuckin on March 25th. She posted a video now reaching upwards of 49 million views, alleging, quote, "You guys, I was literally just walking and a man came up and punched me in the face," end quote. According to the Washington Post, these reports of assault have started appearing online starting March 17th. Starting at that time, at least half a dozen women have come forward on social media to report similar incidents, with only 2 filing reports. Currently, there's one person arrested in the NYPD as a possible suspect, 40-year-old Kabuki Stora, who was arrested for harassment and assault. Stora also took to TikTok to brag about these incidents, however, his accounts have since been taken down. In this case, social media was integral to spreading the warning to other women in the area. However, it unfortunately worked as a double-edged sword that can silence as much as it can spread. One victim saying, quote, "I sometimes wish I had never spoken up," end quote, after receiving insults and threats for her warnings. This then begs the unfortunate question of if people should risk verbal assaults online over physical assaults in person.
A gathering of epic proportions happened this Saturday, March 29th, when Robert De Niro, Snoop Dogg, and Austin Butler met up for a dinner party in Malibu. Champ Medici, Snoop Dogg's second son, posted about the event on Instagram with the caption, "Champ, De Niro, Elvis, Snoop, dinner at the Malibu house, talking numbers." It's not publicly known if this dinner party was for discussing a future collaboration between these stars, but that hasn't stopped fans from analyzing every detail visible in posts about the event. Most photos and videos come from Medici's Instagram. In one video, Snoop Dogg jokes, saying, "You didn't know I had Italian in my blood, huh?" prompting De Niro to respond, "I knew that." Maybe soon we'll know if this party was just for fun, or if it's indicative of an entertainment partnership between these notable names.
Beyonce's highly anticipated Country Carter album dropped on Friday, and here with her thoughts is Taylor DeLisi.
Howdy hashtag, I'm Taylor DeLisi, and today we'll be breaking down the newest Beyonce album, Cowboy Carter, which came out on Friday, March 29th. Cowboy Carter is the second act of Beyonce's 3-act project, with 2022's Renaissance being the first act. The album is a shift away from the pop and R&B sounds of early Beyonce records, venturing into the country genre. Beyonce doesn't just stick to country, as she also pulls inspiration from pop, hip-hop, and some Irish folk tunes to complete the 27-track record. 2 lead singles were dropped on February 12th, which included the hit Texas Hold'em and somber 16 Carriages, which had twanging banjos and old-fashioned country strings. They both represented the two different sides of the album, and fans couldn't wait for more. The wait was worth it, as Cowboy Carter has been highly acclaimed, with Rolling Stone deeming it as a, quote, instant classic. Featuring musical guests like Dolly Parton, Willie Nelson, and up-and-comers Raina Roberts and Tanner Adele, let's break down Cowboy Carter. A big fan favorite is Levi's Jeans with Post Malone. The track is a sultry, flirty country duet that would fit right in as a slow dance at a rodeo. Post Malone, who's most well known for his raspy voice, has never sounded smoother, and his voice complements Beyoncé's perfectly. It's a real standout on a loaded album for how smooth it really is. Another popular track is Riverdance, which sounds like if an Irish jig happened at a honky-tonk. It's an infectious guitar-driven tune that makes you want to get up and dance. Co-written by British hitmaker Ray, who went viral with her song Escapism, Ray brought her quick, snappy lyrics to another level, and the result is the catchiest song on Cowboy Carter. Another duet that's captivated fans is Two Most Wanted with Miley Cyrus. Cyrus grew up in Tennessee, getting her start as Hannah Montana on the Disney Channel, but always incorporating the country elements she grew up with. Where Beyoncé's voice is sweet and melodic, Cyrus's is powerful and haunting as the two blend together so seamlessly. It's a wistful ballad about a friend, partner, or a lover. It's up to the listener's interpretation, but it's a song about being thankful for the shotgun riders who go with us everywhere. The one small critique that many fans shared is on Beyoncé's re-imaging of Dolly Parton's timeless classic Jolene, which is about begging another woman not to take your man. While Parton's is pleading and vulnerable, Beyoncé flips a switch and issues a warning to Jolene instead. Whereas Beyoncé mostly places the blame on Jolene, Parton's version is focused on her own insecurities. Many fans were wary about the lyric changes, with some referencing, quote, raising her man didn't emulate the original very well or offer any improvements. While the jury is still out with the fans, Parton praised Beyoncé, saying that Beyoncé, quote, gave that girl some trouble, and she deserved it, end quote. All in all, Cowboy Carter is Beyoncé's most maniacally adventurous album yet, with the risk paying off big time. Beyoncé's vocals fit seamlessly into the celebratory and fierce nature of the record, while absolutely nailing the more emotional country ballads. If Renaissance redefined house music, and Cowboy Carter redefined country, will Act 3 be a reclamation of rock or a celebration of gospel? Only Queen Bee knows, but we can't wait to see what she'll do next. Unfortunately, that's all the time I have today. I'm Taylor DeLisi, and we'll be right back after this commercial break.
Type 2 diabetes can have a big impact on your life, but how can it be prevented? Well, the first step is knowing if you have prediabetes, a serious medical condition that puts you at high risk for type 2 diabetes. 1 in 3 American adults has prediabetes, but more than 80% don't know they have it. The good news is, prediabetes can be reversed, and for many people, healthy changes in their daily routine can make a big difference. Take the 1-minute risk test today at doihavepreddiabetes.org.
I know what you're thinking. I need a job. I need a new career.
Well, I've been there.
I've been there.
I've been there. I wasn't happy with what I was doing.
After high school, I didn't have a plan.
I just wanted to start working. I got laid off twice, but you gotta keep going.
You just need the right skills. Find an apprenticeship.
I found a 2-year IT program.
I found a medical course online.
I'm now a consultant in the tech space.
You have more options than you think. You can do this.
You will find something.
You will find something new.
Honey, what I think you need is a socket wrench.
I played JV basketball.
I'm sorry. I don't think it looks right.
This is good, and it's all
Is
good,
it,
baby.
Is it really all good?
If you love me enough to routinely test your handyman skills, not to mention the strength of your marriage, then of course you'll visit nhtsa.gov/therightseat to make sure I'm in the right car seat.
I'm gonna call my dad.
Hey hashtag, I'm Joe. Today I'm going to be talking about what movies are coming out in April. With only a few notable movies coming out in March, theaters are beginning to heat up with some exciting new films. Without further ado, let's get right into it. Starting off strong, we have the much anticipated film Monkey Man. Starring director Dev Patel, this action thriller follows the story of an anonymous man who stands up for the powerless in his community. Using the legend of the White Monkey as his secret identity, the unknown man takes a stand against the corrupt leaders in his city in an attempt to bring justice to the victimized. The movie is being produced by Jordan Peele, who is well known for his films Get Out and Nope. You can catch Monkey Man when it hits theaters April 5th. Challengers is Zendaya's latest film, directed by Luca Guadagnino. Challengers follows the story of Tashi, a world-class tennis player who's forced to become a coach after a career-ending injury. Now the coach of her husband, Art, Tashi must help prepare him for a matchup against Patrick, Tashi's ex-boyfriend, and Art's former best friend. Challengers has been a highly anticipated drama film, and it comes to theaters April 26th. Civil War is A24's latest film, directed by Alex Garland. Civil War takes place in a dystopian future where America is divided by conflict and war. A group of journalists are tasked to get to Washington, D.C. before a rogue faction descends upon the nation's capital. Civil War hits theaters on April 12th. The First Omen is a prequel to the 1976 horror film The Omen. The First Omen follows Margaret, a nun beginning her service in a church in Rome. Fans of the religious horror genre have been treated well this spring, with the movie Immaculate only coming out a few weeks prior. The First Omen releases in theaters April 5th. Guy Ritchie is back again with another action film. The Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare follows a group of soldiers who use unorthodox methods to complete their missions. Starring Henry Cavill, this action-packed World War II film is sure to be a fun ride with lots of action and explosions that Guy Ritchie fans have come to expect. The Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare comes to theaters on April 19th. That's all I have for today, and now back to the desk.
As a summer reading club known as Tonight Show Summer Reads. This March Madness rendition features a bracket of 16 choices of books viewers can vote on until one is left. The winning book will become the Fallon Book Club pick for the spring. Fallon said, quote, "We can vote round by round until we narrow down the elite 8 books," end quote, referring to a stack of selected books on his desk. Viewers can cast up to 10 votes per round. The advancing books will be announced on the show as well as on the book club's Instagram at Fallon Book Club. Pop singer Shakira appeared on The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon this past week to discuss her new album, as well as her breakup with her boyfriend of 11 years, Gerald Piqué. The Colombian singer claimed her ex, quote, dragged her down in regard to her music career. The name of the album is Las Mujeres Ya No Lloran, meaning Women No Longer Cry. While on The Tonight Show, Shakira did not hold back talking about Piqué. She said, quote, "I've been putting out music here and there, but it was really hard for me to put together a body of work. I didn't have time because of the husband factor. Now I'm husbandless. Now I'm free. Now I can actually work," end quote. With Piqué out of the picture, she hopes to continue and advance her career. That's it for this week's hashtag Late Night Highlights. We'll be right back after this commercial break with the Hollywood News Update.
Meet the scan, a simple procedure whose mission is to detect lung cancer early.
I'm here to save you!
But I feel fine.
That's great, but you may still be at high risk for lung cancer.
Oh man, that's a new fence.
If you smoke, early detection could save your life. Learn more at savedbythescan.org.
If you need to do something to feel okay to drive, you're not okay to drive. Don't drive buzzed.
When we adopt a shelter pet, we discover they're a unique mix of all kinds of things.
Come on, Jules, spot on this last one. There it is. Keep going with it. Leo.
They're a little bit of a lot of things, but they're all pure love.
We're back with this week's Hollywood News Update, and here to fill us in on all the latest West Coast entertainment news is Ryan Zayax.
Thanks, guys. We're going straight to Hollywood for our first story. Martin Scorsese is set to host and produce a series for Fox News' streaming service Fox Nation titled Following the Saints. It will feature 8 episodes in total, chronicling the stories of the 7 saints. Scorsese is no stranger to exploring religion, creating films such as The Temptations of Christ and Silence. According to Fox, this docudrama will examine these extraordinary figures and their extreme acts of kindness, selflessness, and sacrifice. Martin Scorsese's next film will follow Jesus and an examination of organized religion. Marcus and Alex, factoring in Martin Scorsese going to Netflix to bring The Irishman to life, how do you feel about him and other filmmakers going to streaming services in order to have their visions realized?
Well, I personally really like it that directors are making the move to streaming services because it allows them to have more time to express their creative vision. I mean, if we're talking about Netflix specifically, they usually have 10-episode seasons that are an hour long, and that gives us around 10 hours each for an entire creative vision, whereas in most Hollywood movies nowadays, the max cap is 3 hours. And with Stranger Things getting a budget of over $30 million for one episode, that is an incredible amount. And I mean, I think Scorsese has the star power to potentially get that kind of budget, but what do you think?
I think streaming services can be a really good place for filmmakers and artists to make something that's in line with their vision that they're proud of. But I also believe that heavily relies on star power and just like how notable of a name you are. Like Scorsese with his history of doing films like these and like people knowing about him, it's like people knowing about him, they're willing to give him the vision and budget that he wants. But if you're a lesser known filmmaker, that might be harder because especially for smaller filmmakers, streaming services can be a much harsher field to get what you want to be produced necessarily. Ryan, what do you think?
Yeah, I very much agree with what you guys are saying because Martin Scorsese is a true auteur and he's going to go really wherever he can get his creative control. And of course, that's not only just in theaters nowadays, and streaming services like Netflix gave him whatever he wanted for The Irishman, and I'm sure Fox will give him whatever he wants for the 7 Saints series. And Scorsese himself is still evolving as a filmmaker, and I feel that his work is maturing, and I'm really excited to see what he'll bring to Fox or bring to Netflix or wherever else he continues to go. And continuing on, Elvis and Dune Part 2 standout Austin Butler is set to star in an adaptation of the novel Caught Stealing by Charlie Hudson, which follows a former professional baseball player who descends into New York City's criminal underworld. The film is set to be directed by Darren Aronofsky, adding to the story list of directors Butler has collaborated with. Aronofsky's latest film, The Whale, led to Brendan Fraser winning an Oscar, and the same occurred with his 2010 movie Black Swan, where Natalie Portman took home Best Actress. Marcus and Alex, do you think Austin Butler will be the next Aronofsky actor to win an Oscar?
So I believe it's an interesting way to look at it, to say that you have a higher chance of winning an Oscar based on saying that there's a director where actors that work with them typically get an Oscar. I think that's an interesting way of looking at it, which there's certainly some credibility to it. And Austin Butler is definitely a very talented actor, and I could see him winning an Oscar. I'm not entirely sure, but I could totally see it with his notability in films like Dune Part 2 and Elvis. Alex, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, Austin Butler, he has a pretty face, I won't lie, but I think it's going to take him another 5 or 10 years to build up the star power that's required in order to win an Oscar. Because, I mean, he only just did get one of his breakout roles in Elvis where he was able to be the star actor, and in Dune Part 2 he was also very impressive, where he played his role, but I think that this is only the beginning of where we can see his talent. I think it's going to take a lot more. But if we're speaking strictly from stats and reviews, I mean, Elvis did perform pretty well at the box office. We're talking about $288 million worldwide, and that's only with an $85 million budget, and it also received a 7.3 out of 10 on IMDb, so that's already really impressive. So if we're speaking from reviews and how much his movies are making hits, I think that's really important. But I think it's also something that we need to take into account that we just need to see more experience, and I think he just doesn't have that yet. If we are able to see him in another star role, then that's potentially something that we can do. He did win a BAFTA, and typically you could predict if someone's going to get an Oscar, if someone wins a BAFTA, but for now I think we need to see him in more breakout roles and see him with more stars in upcoming films like this. But what do you think, Ryan?
Yeah, I very much agree with what you both are saying. In regards to what you said, Marcus, you work with the big directors who the Academy loves, you can get those nominations, and it's always the goal of actors and artists to collaborate with other great artists, and things like awards, especially Austin Butler's talents, are rewards for that. And kind of like what you said, Alex, he is very much still emerging, but I wouldn't be surprised if he gets a Best Supporting Actor nom this year for Dune Part 2 with the work he's done, and I'm very excited to see what he continues to do. So that's all the time we have left for this week's Hollywood News Update. We'll be right back after this commercial break with Flop or Not, Celebrity Prank Edition.
What do you think you're doing, Kevin?
Was just gonna drive home.
There are several warning signs present that you shouldn't be driving.
Like hearing voices?
Like your text-to-emoji ratio?
Oh man, the selfies.
Selfies, nailed it.
We all have warning signs that let us know that we're probably not okay to drive. Mine is pretending to be your subconscious.
Craig, come on man, let's split a ride home.
The Pooh Blood and Honey franchise is growing into the Pooniverse. Michael Katz-Flynn and Michael Rada have more on this business expansion.
Hey hashtag, it's Michael.
And I'm Michael. Today we'll be talking about the newest sequel coming to theaters, Pooh Blood and Honey 2, and the new Twisted Childhood universe.
After two hilariously bad Winnie the Pooh horror movies, director Rhys Jake Waterfield has come out and surprised us with a new lineup of horror movies based on childhood characters.
The first Pooh film only cost $100,000 and made over $5 million at the box office, with audiences running out to see it. Unfortunately, yet understandably, it has a 3% on Rotten Tomatoes.
The second film shocked us all, debuting with an 100% from critics and 81% by fans. It has since changed to a 67% by critics and 83% by fans. Nonetheless, it is still surprising that this did not debut with a Rotten score. This could partially have been boosted by the massive increase in a budget to $1 million, which allowed them to go outside the box a bit more.
After the first trailer for the sequel, it was announced they will do various films that are now in public domain, including Bambi the Reckoning, Peter Pan's Neverland Nightmare, and Pinocchio Unstrung. These films are supposed to lead up to a crossover event in 2025 called the Pooniverse Monsters Unleashed, where we will see all the characters come together. How these will connect with each other remains a mystery, though.
Director of the two Blood and Honey movies and the other Twisted Childhood universe films, Rhys Jake Waterfield, has commented on this saying, quote, "We've got access to all these concepts, so it's like a self-contained bubble, and we can do what we want with them. Blood and Honey and Blood and Honey 2, and will helm the Pooniverse. So yeah, it's really exciting, end quote.
Universal was planning on making a MonsterVerse based off of horror figures such as Frankenstein, Invisible Man, and Dracula a bunch of years ago, but then it died after the Tom Cruise film The Mummy bombed at the box office. So plans can always change.
With the budgets of these movies being extremely low, it is very easy for them to turn a profit, which is why they are now eager to make a bunch of these movies and try to become the next big shared universe. However, it seems apparent that it's being rushed with how many movies we are supposed to get in the next year.
Despite the big crossover event coming out next year, none of these films have been announced for production dates or release dates, causing a little bit of concern whether this is a real solid plan or if this is just for show.
We are entering an interesting time period where some of our favorite characters that have existed for almost a century are entering public domain, which allows anyone to do what they want with them without getting sued. There are also 2 Mickey Mouse horror movies in the works that were announced right when Steamboat Mickey entered public domain.
In the next couple years, we are going to see even bigger characters enter public domain, such as Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, and the Looney Tunes characters, which opens up a whole new door of possibilities that we could see.
Despite it seemingly inevitable for more people to take advantage of public domain characters, if they consistently have bad reviews and make little to no money, then it could crash and burn just as fast as it all started.
All in all, this is a weird set of circumstances that we are very excited to see.
That's all we have time for today. Back to you guys at the desk.
This week, in honor of April Fool's Day, Marcus and I will be playing a game of Flop or Not, Celebrity Prank Edition. Let's get started. Cool or Fool, that's what it is, celebrity pranks. So let's see what the first one is. All right, Scott Disick prank called Kris Jenner as Todd Cranes. That's really interesting.
You know, a classic prank call. I think that just works really well, especially when you're like a star and you have that like name recognition, kind of like I was saying before. Like,
yeah, I think that's really fun. I will say that I think a prank call is something that we've all done. It is a classic. But if we're talking about celebrities who have like the money and the ability, I'm expecting a little bit more from people on this list. So I think, and personally for me, I'm calling it kind of like not really cool.
I think it's pretty cool, but let's see the next one.
What's the next one?
Jersey Shore Inside Out.
Oh, okay. So this is where they put all of the stuff on the inside of the house, on the outside of the house, and all the stuff on the outside of the house, on the inside of the house.
That's really good.
All right. So something like this takes a lot of effort. This takes I feel like planning, execution, and like all that kind of stuff. So let me put some respect on their name. I think this is pretty cool. I think this is a really good April Fool's joke because it takes a lot of effort.
I also think it's very cool. That's just really funny to hear about, like plain and simple.
Yeah, I think like if you need to do it. Like if you need to do a prank, you need to do it like really big. But what's the next one? All right, Nick Cannon putting his face on Kevin Hart's plane. Oh, that's hilarious.
That's insane, especially considering that he broke into the airplane hangar to do that. That is crazy and also really funny.
I think this is really fun because like you have to design the whole thing, you have to put it on the plane, and it's all really fun. But I want to see what the next one is. I'm really excited. All right, James Corden unveiling a hideous statue honoring David Beckham. Oh my God.
That is a very hideous statue.
I did not like that at all. I feel like, if anything, I would be insulted personally if I saw that statue.
I think that makes it a good prank, though.
Oh, that's true.
So imagine like big statue. It's just ugly. It's like the effort to do that. Like that's crazy. That's hilarious.
All right, I will give them points for effort, but I think that it just needed to be a little bit better, at least with the design. Like if you're going to do something with like a design, it just needs to be a little better. I will say, I'm sure they spent plenty of time and money on it, but it was so long. It was so elongated. I mean, I don't think his face is that long.
No, but it makes it really funny.
It is really funny.
What was your favorite of the four, you think?
Okay, well, I think the plane one was really cool.
I was going to say the plane one.
Okay, then we agree.
Well, we could both, we just think it's that funny that we both agree.
Yeah, because he was like this. He was like that, and I think that was really fun.
Yeah.
All right.
Anyways, well, that's all we have this week on #that.
Make sure to follow us on our social media accounts to stay up to date.
I'm Marcus Ferreira.
And I'm Alex Kendall from the producers, talent, and everyone working hard behind the scenes. Thank you so much for watching #that, and we will see you again next week.